Welcome back. In this video, we'll be updating the interior electronics of the truck with the new stereo, speakers, dash cam / mirror thingy, and replacing a broken headlight switch. Let's get started. We'll be starting off with the speaker replacement, so we're going to go ahead and remove all the door panels. Take a small break and hit you with the dog tags. Oh, they're good boys. Alright, enough of that, back to work. Just to give you an idea how bad these were, you can see the material between the cone and the base is completely gone on all the speakers. They sounded terrible. The front door speakers mounted directly to the door. The rears, I reused this plastic panel. For reference, anybody doing this at home, a 6.5-inch speaker fits great. We'll go ahead and crimp some new ends on there and install the speaker. Repeat for all 4 doors. Then we'll throw the door panels back on and the speakers are done. Next, we're on to the dash removal to take out the radio, the headlight switch, and my HVAC module has a couple bulbs out that I want to look into. Let's crack this thing open and see what's going on inside there. Okay, I got it apart. So there's these 6 blue bulbs that are 6 volts and these 2 tiny little incandescent ones that are 12 volt. After looking into it, I can only find kits that sell all the bulbs. The only 2 bulbs that are out are these 2 tiny ones. And the cheapest kit I can find is $16, and that's coming from China with a 2-week ship time. So I'm going to straight up give up on this one. I'm just going to put it back together and just know that up is hot and down is cold for my controls here. It's just not worth the time, effort, money to replace them. If more of these burn out in the future, then I'll order the whole kit and do it. Let's get the new radio into the new dash kit. Alright, so here's the single / double din kit. On my wife's Tahoe with the same body style, I got just a single din kit because we knew that's what we were doing. For this one, I wasn't sure if I was going to put a screen in there or just a single one. Obviously, I'm going just a single, but the fit and finish on this is absolutely terrible. So I'm going to go back and get just a single din dedicated one. I'll miss out on this storage tray, but it's hard to pick up on camera, but the plastic bows here, the corners don't line up here. You can see light through here. I'm really unimpressed with this, and I don't want to stick it on there. So I went back to the store to see if they had any other options, and this was the only one they carried. So I got another one just to see, and this one seems a lot better. There's no sag along the top here, and you can't see any gaps between the stereo and the little DIN storage area. So I think it was just a manufacturing defect on the last one I had. Well, I checked my pinouts, my powers and grounds, the accessory wire, the fuse on the back of the radio. I cannot get that Sony radio to work. So not only has the first stereo mount not worked, I can't get the stereo to work either. So I returned it and I got another one, but I went with something different. So let me back up and explain all of the stuff that I've been trying to do. Originally, I thought it's 2024. I haven't messed with car stereos in a long time. They must make one that has a dash cam, reverse cam, and Android Auto. Just everything in one and all in one unit. So I was looking around and searching. I couldn't find any except for one on Amazon, but it was extremely cheap. I never heard of the brand, so I thought, you kind of get what you pay for. It's probably not going to work great. You know, how long will it last? So eventually I figured, okay, I'll get a dash cam, a normal radio with no screen, and then just use the mount that I got. And I'll just use this vent mount for my phone for GPS and stuff. So that's what I did. And then after doing that research, I found that they make the mirror dash cam and reverse light, which I'm installing in this video also. And I thought, great, because it's the more stock I can make it look, the better. The less amount of screens. I don't have to have this suction cupped here and this stuck in a vent over here. So I was okay with that. And then the Sony one didn't work. So I thought about it. Touchscreen radios, it's hard to say because I've seen a lot fail over time. Even the stock ones in vehicles. You know, I work for GM. I've seen a lot of GM ones fail, or they outdate themselves very quickly. So after the Sony failed, I went back to looking for a touchscreen radio, and one of the things I wanted with the touchscreen is I really like a volume knob. I hate the buttons, a physical button, and then even worse if it's a touch button, like a haptic button. I can't stand those, and I was having a hard time finding those online. Unless you get up into like the more expensive Kenwoods and stuff, they make some, but they're hundreds and hundreds of dollars. I found this dual radio. It's got the Android Auto and a dial on it. They also have another model that was right next to it on a shelf without the dial, and as far as I can tell, those are the only two differences, so I figured I'll try this. Yes, it's cheap, but my wife has had a dual radio in her Tahoe for going on 4 years now, and it hasn't broke yet, so I just bought this one and the extended warranty. So while the price did go way up from the original Sony stereo I had, what have I got to lose? You know, I bought a Sony stereo because I thought, hey, it's a name brand, it's all right, it'll work, and it didn't work out of the box. So really, what good and what bad is cheap versus expensive anymore? I know obviously there is, but it just put me off. Like, well, if this one ain't gonna work, I'll go this route. So anyways, after a bad installation bracket, a bad stereo, and I didn't even tell you. The headlight switch. I had the headlight switch too, and granted that was a super cheap, like $20 one off Amazon. So my headlight switch didn't work, but the dimmer worked, and they're part of the same unit. So I swapped it out, and now the headlight switch worked, but the dimmer doesn't work. It was the opposite problem I was having. So what I ended up doing is taking the new one out, taking the old one apart, cleaning all the contacts, and putting some new dielectric grease in there and putting it back together. And now my old headlight switch is working as it should for now. So I just did a little bit of work and saved myself $20 for that switch. Anyways, let's keep going with this radio install. Here we go. I'm pretty out of touch when it comes to aftermarket radios, especially with the touchscreen, in the Apple and Android CarPlay, all that stuff. But this one, I knew it had a GPS, but what they didn't show on the website is this has a Wi-Fi antenna. I have no idea why. Their instructions are pretty much just like a quick start guide, and obviously it's not for the instructions on the one online because it doesn't even show it having it, so I'm gonna have to look into that. Anyways, we got it mounted in here. It looks pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and do the wiring next, and then I'm gonna hook it up before I put it in the truck this time. Make sure everything works. So here we have my rear view mirror, and what I'm gonna do is replace it with the Dashcam rear view mirror. Now mine has the auto light sensing on it. It doesn't have the little flip switch here, and that doesn't work. It's always bright. And then the compass, it has a compass in the temp, but if you hit either button, it just shuts off. I don't know if it's supposed to do that. The only thing I'm worried about taking this off is when I disconnect the wiring, if this passenger airbag indicator, maybe if we could focus. Oh, we almost had it. All right, so this passenger airbag indicator light, if that's gonna throw an airbag code because it's losing communication to this, I don't know yet, but we'll find out. So this Dashcam mirror kit originally comes with some rubber straps that are just supposed to go over your stock mirror, but my stock mirror is pretty bulky, so they also sell a connector to just completely replace it and go on the stock mounting bracket. So I got that, and also a hardwire kit so that I don't have to have a wire running to my cigarette outlet. The hardwire kit also has a low power shutdown, so it'll stay in a security mode, a low power security mode, until your battery drains to a certain amount, and then it'll completely shut off, and you can set what that voltage is on the controller. It gives you a couple options. For the rear camera, I took this spare taillight from work and hacked off the license plate bracket and made my own. Then I ran the wires to the back, loomed and heat shrunk all the connections, and there's the rear camera with the bracket. This dash cam mirror that I got is the Wolfbox 8. Excuse you, sir. This dash cam that I got is the Wolfbox G840S. They have a bunch of different models on their website, and I can tell some of the models apart and others not so much. I know they have different quality cameras, and then like some have Wi-Fi, some don't. So this one doesn't have Wi-Fi or anything like that, and it doesn't have a 2.5K rear camera. It just has the 1080p, which I'm fine with. But after I bought it, they sent me a message like, hey, we have this updated rear camera if you'd like to try it. I think it's called the WDS camera. And so I was like, yeah, sure, why not? So I'm not sponsored by them, even though I have a huge following on YouTube. But they did send me an upgraded camera for free. And it's the whole cord camera and everything, which is nice because that is the only part of the system that's exposed to the elements and the most likely part to fail. So I don't know if I'm going to stick it on right away, but it's nice to know that if this other camera isn't up to par, I have a better one that I can throw on it. Just something I figured I'd mention. Here's the radio all installed. If I pull back and show the whole dash, it washes the screen out because of the light in the garage. So there's an up close shot. Then as we bring it out, that's what she looks like. It's pretty nice. You can do full maps or do this split app thing. It's got a couple options. We'll see how it works over time, I guess. Then we have our mirror. So when the mirror is off, it's a rear view mirror. It doesn't have the flipper on it. It seems like it's always on the night mode. Like if you have a regular rear view mirror with the flipper on it and at night you flip it so the headlights aren't blinding you, it's about that darkness. And then if you want to use it, just push the button here. Here's our rear view. So you can see a real nice shot of my garage. Not only is it up close, but my phone camera is blurry. It doesn't know what to focus on. You can swipe up, down. You can go over to get a front shot. If you're trying to adjust your camera, I guess. I don't know why else you would look out the front of it. And then you can swipe again to get both shots. It does have a GPS, so it shows our direction in miles per hour. And the clock, since I have the low power shutdown, it is never right, which I'm gonna try and find a way to turn the clock off. That's about the only thing. And then the radio also has a GPS, so I actually have two GPS modules up there. I haven't stuck them down yet. And I don't know what it does, because if I turn the GPS on my phone off, it will not show GPS here. It says we need permissions from your phone to use GPS. So maybe that's something in the settings, or maybe different apps use different things. That being said, I guess this is now just a trial of time. Do they last? Will they work out for me? The one thing I don't like about this is I talked about how much I hate the touch buttons. Now on a map and all that, I understand, but the radio selecting is all touch based, which I guess I'm not going to be using the radio much in this anyways. That's why I got the Android autoplay, so I can listen to my phone. But anything from the radio, you got to hit these soft touch buttons to go back and forth, or not even soft touch, the touch screen buttons to go back and forth. But yeah, I'm pretty excited with how it all turned out. Oh yeah, it's got the Google search too. Hold on, so if I cancel that, so I can still do the okay Google, what up?
It's Women's History Month, so I'm learning a bunch of new facts.
Oh.
First one, 15 years before Darwin's theory of evolution, Mary Anning was eating up rare fossils on the Jurassic Coast with her dog train. She gained a wide reputation as a pioneer in paleontology and corresponded with leading figures in the field. She even found the first skeleton of the ever discovered.
Jeez, I don't know if you guys caught all that, but I wasn't ready for that whole conversation. Either way, yeah. So I'll update you in the future, as I always say, if anything goes wrong or with my likes and dislikes. That's it for now. Okay, that brings us to the end of the video where we can total everything up. So we have the radio with the extended warranty, the harness and the dash kit at $245, the speakers at $112, the dash cam, mount, and hardware kit at $160. That gives us a total of $517. Adding that to our old essentials total of $1911, we have a new essentials total of $2428. Our camping total stays at $1914, which brings us to a grand total of $4342. This truck is getting expensive. Anyways, that's it for this video. Hopefully my next one is me taking it out camping. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.